Greetings and welcome to the Equity.Guru Investor Roundtable. I'm Bobby downstairs with my friend Galen, who's over there making gin.
Yes.
Upstairs is Chris Perry, the guru himself. He's in the office working diligently, also kind of working diligently, but mostly just rubbing and massaging and shining up his
Microdosing.
Silver ingots.
Oh.
His shell Fatura. Today we're talking about EarthRenew, ERTH on the Canadian Exchange under CEO Keith Driver. And it's actually Mr. VV who will jump on this puppy first.
Well, Rob, agriculture. I love it. I know Galen loves it. Pretty sure Chris loves it as well. But it's just this sector that not many people are, paying attention to, I think, when the world is talking about technology, cryptos. But food and agriculture is very important. You have to feed the human race and the population. We're hearing a lot about food inflation, and I think this theme is going to progress. So EarthRenew, very simply, produces and sells organic fertilizers, which come from livestock waste. So literally manure, and they turn that into regenerative agriculture or fertilizer. And during the process, it also produces electricity from natural gas using basically gas turbines and supplies, which can be used to sell to the electrical grid. And also there is a cryptocurrency play as well, because you can use that power to run crypto miners, as they have said in their press releases as well. And they produce this fertilizer through their patented thermal processing technology, which again turns animal manure, livestock manure into good stuff for plant growth and restoring soil health, which offers higher yield than equivalent chemical fertilizers. And why is this big? I think this is huge because recently, last year in November, there's been talks about potash shortages, fertilizer shortages, and a lot of farmers are warning that this spring season, so it's coming up in a month, maybe a month and a half, we're going to feel that issue. We're going to see that there is a lot of issues with North American fertilizers. There's not going to be enough, and farmers are going to have to pay a lot of money to get their potash and other fertilizers for growing crops. And something like EarthRenew, it is a fertilizer play, but they also offer their fertilizer, in my opinion, well, not in my opinion, but they claim is cheaper than regular potash as well. So there's two sort of macro plays with their technology. And just recently, they've actually upgraded their Bisaker, Alberta blending and granulating facility. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to increase their fertilizer production, and they have reported positive forward guidance because of the fertilizer issue around the world. And I think they're in a great place, macro and also on the technical side, but we'll get to that technical side after we hear thoughts from Galen and Chris.
Very good.
Yep.
Galen, are you next?
I am. I'll do it. Here I go. Poo is a big problem. A huge problem.
You've been
and I ain't kidding. I'm both
dying to say
exactly
that.
Both in size and effect. You were talking 4 billion metric tons a year globally. They're just dumping it out like there's no tomorrow. This is causing huge problems with methane in the atmosphere. That whole sort of thing. And it's actually one of the biggest effectors. Car exhaust and the other stuff takes a distant second. Then you've got the fact that they're poisoning waterways. It's just so much that you can't do with it. So basically what EarthRenew has done is it's solving a problem, which is really kind of cool, and bringing together a fertilizer option that actually takes care of this issue by taking all this poo that just sits there and it just becomes waste to turn it into a fertilizer. But not just a fertilizer, because right now we live in a world where crops are depleting the soils. The farmers no longer are able to really rotate crops effectively. They try to do it, but the problem is that we're just eating too damn much. So in an effort to actually rebuild the soil, this is the whole new technology. It's not just organic farming. This is called regenerative farming. which basically means that these fertilizers go in and they build up the soil pulp, they build up the nutrients, so it can actually produce again like it was before. And we're not just dumping chemicals in, which is what your typical chemical fertilizer does. Now, up until this point, regenerative fertilizers have not necessarily produced as much as a chemical fertilizer, because chemical fertilizers are basically like testosterone, you know what I mean? You just shoot that into the soil and away it goes. But it doesn't do anything to help the soil itself. It just puts a bunch of nitrogen in it, and basically the plants suck that out, and the soil's dead when they're done. So and sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say a very important point, because when you have poor soil, it also means that some of the crops don't actually maintain the nutrients, which
no, absolutely,
also lead to
you get shit food. You get shit food.
Exactly.
So what this does, and what they've managed to do, is increase yield by 40% over regular chemical fertilizers. This is pretty astounding. It's easy to ship. It doesn't smell because it's been heated. And the way that they heat it, they actually, as Vishal says, they produce electricity, which they have already signed to sell back to the grid, and they've already signed to produce electricity for a crypto miner, unnamed. So, and they're producing revenue from this. This company, it flies below the radar because it's in the shit. Nobody really knows about it because they just, not concerned about that stuff, but they really should be. This company has all sorts of positives about it. It's making money, it's making deals, and it's actually making the world better. I see so much potential for this company. I'll leave it go. Somebody else can talk.
And some excellent puns.
Thank you.
Chris?
So, all right, let's do the poop shoot then. We've been talking about EarthRenew for quite a while, and the market's response to that has been like through all of that time. I think a lot of people sort of saw it as, well, this is a business model that's going to require a bit of explanation. People don't have patience. There's been the people who have been like, hey, man, it's just cow shit. The people who are like, electricity generation, who cares, EVs, solar. The reality of it is EarthRenew said they were going to do a thing, and they've done the thing. It's taken a couple of years to get it all together, get all the parts moving in unison, but they go out, they collect the cow shit, they turn it into electricity, and the byproduct they turn into a product. Their revenues are up by 100% over previous time, the same time last year. It is as green a company as one can get. They're never going to have to worry about carbon credits because they're effectively cleaning up several industries all at the one time. It's a little known fact that New York City proper is built on horse shit, right? Back in the horse and buggy days, there was no way to get rid of all the shit that was generated. So it would just get shoveled to the side and eventually became so damn tall that it just became the sidewalk. And so literally New York City is built on horse shit. The inability to do anything with all of that crap, even though it's rich in, fertilizer glory, is still a problem in a lot of industries. If you've got like big old cattle ranches, you've got abattoirs, what to do with the crap is a real problem. You can't just flush it out into the river. So they pay a lot of money to get this stuff hauled off. Here comes EarthRenew and says, you can pay us a lot less because we're going to make electricity out of it and then a product out of it. I can't imagine there's anyone in any business that produces fertilizer that wouldn't want to be a partner with EarthRenew. And not to get in on Vishal's side of things, but the chart looks pretty tasty. Yep. Look, admittedly, if you've been in EarthRenew for the past, let's say 2 years, you're underwater. Yep. But if you looked at it in the last month or two, as we've been sort of barking about agriculture sector making a bit of a rise, you got in at just the right time. Yep. This thing got down to 15 cents. It's gone as high as 25 just the other day. So it's a nice big return just in the last couple of months. And on not a lot of volume, if I'm completely honest about things. It just seems like the story is starting to make an impact. Exactly. Like this company is still there, right? It's not gone away. It's not been a pump and dump. I guess it is a pump and dump in a very limited sense. We won't talk too much about that.
You even had the sound effect pun at one point with that. That's like...
Let's move on.
What really turns my crank is the management. Keith Driver is a man with a vision and the technical expertise to make this happen.
How many times have we talked to him over the last couple of years? And each time it's just been like, look, here's the thing. We take this thing that no one wants and we turn it into something that everyone wants. And then we've still got the byproduct at the end of that to turn it into even more. Like the potash business for 100 years was built around going out and mining seagull shit off the islands of the Pacific. Shit is a very understated business. It's not just about politics anymore. So I think EarthRenew is really interesting, and I think it's really interesting right now. Anyone who's had to be patient with it and watch the share price drop, I feel like in the next 6 months is going to be when you're going to get your patience rewarded. And those that never did get in, it should be something you should be starting to look at right now. And I'll also say this, not a client anymore. We've got no reason to say this. We're not being paid to say it. It's just we started telling this story a long time ago, and it's nice to see this story come to fruition.
By the way, before we get to charts, just not to gross you out, but New York City also, literally, until I saw a story about their waste treatment plant that they have. It's an incredible thing that goes on, like otherworldly. But prior to that coming online in the 90s, they literally just pumped all of the human waste into the river.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like Victoria.
As somebody who lived on the Jersey Shore for a short period, can confirm.
That's why you don't swim in the rivers. But
don't swim off
straight in, like all the decades and decades of dung, human dung, into the river. How you doing?
Well, and the medical waste is what really gets you when you're swimming along and a syringe just floats by. Get out of the pool.
Get out. On that note, Vishal, how are the charts doing for EarthRenew?
Just as Chris, hinted to, it's looking very, very positive. I think maybe this is the best time to announce the disclaimer that I do own shares of EarthRenew. Both Galen and Chris mentioned the great ESG, regenerative soil issue. I think that's true, right? That's great. I think, the reason the stock is moving is because all of this is now happening at the right time. Chris mentioned this long downtrend that's been going on basically since the beginning of 2021, near the end of 2021, and then the beginning of this year is when the stock actually finally began finding some support. And we've been talking about this breakout. I actually wrote this right up on the 1st of February. EarthRenew has the best looking chart setup in agriculture, and we were looking at it when it was pre-breakout at 18 cents there. And since then, the stock has flown up, I think it was about 30% from that level. And I think it's just getting started because, as I mentioned, I think a lot of money is starting to look at fertilizers as we get closer to spring. Just very quickly, I just want to show you guys CF, which is one of the largest fertilizer/potash companies, making record highs. A lot of these fertilizer companies are making record highs right now. And then another, I guess they're not really small anymore, but Verta Agritech, Canadian company, NPK, went from like $2 and just had a 15 or 16%, 14% day to day. And it just keeps on going. So a lot of these fertilizer plays they look the same, just this nice rip, making new record highs. And I think EarthRenew is still that under the radar and undervalued play here. And I think at the right time, the stock is now getting its fundamentals. And of course, the technicals are here to support it. We got that breakout on February 2nd. That was the actual breakout of this range. And since that happened, we've been saying that the stock is now in a new uptrend. So essentially what we saw here in this prolonged downtrend, we now expect that to happen on the way up. I think we had our first pullback actually on the 7th when the stock did sell off to hit 21 cents. It didn't really hit 20 cents, which is, our support now. But I think a lot of buyers did step in around this period to drive the prices higher. And we did hit highs of 28 cents on yesterday's trading. And as Chris mentioned, there's not very much volume. Like today wasn't a really heavy volume day as well. So I think people are just beginning to notice the stock and pay attention to it because they are advancing on the fertilizer production side of things, increasing that production. And I think, in a few months' time, or in 6 months' time, the stock will be higher given the macro fundamentals of agriculture and fertilizers and potash, all that stuff all together. And the company put out positive forward guidance, right? They're expecting more money because of the current situation in the fertilizer space. And they're doing everything they can to benefit from that by increasing production of fertilizer. So the chart looks great. It looks like it's starting a new uptrend, and you have the fundamentals there. So I think you have a winning combination of both, fundamentals and technicals, all combining at the exact, at a great time, at the right time. And I think it looks really good. That's all I can say.
This is a very straightforward product and a straightforward roundtable, because it's not, it's not that complex. We're not crunching anything weird here. Galen, how much are you spending of the 7,500 bucks?
Well, I'm going to dump 7,500 bucks on this puppy. I really do think this is the future of farming. This is the future of farming. I don't just think it. This is the future of farming. They have patented processes in creating this product. They're already doing business. They have a huge way to grow. They can partner with farmers. This is just something that's going to dazzle the nation when they really start to figure this out. The other fertilizer companies, great, whatever. They're not providing a long-term solution. EarthRenew is. So I see huge potential. Yeah, 7,500, man. I'm fucking going.
Let's go.
I have a sound effect.
I was going to say, get the sound effect ready.
Wrong one I had. It's supposed to be a bell. Shoot. Okay.
There was a bell in there somewhere.
Let me keep looking for bells while you tell us if we're going to hear the bell for having 3 clean sweeps. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you muted.
Sorry about that. I'm not cowering away from this one.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm done gonna put all the money on EarthRenew. I think right now this is the time, this is the place. It's coming upwards because people are figuring it out. It's not because it's being promoted. I think if this is an idea that you've been looking at for a while, this is the go time, the green light, 7,500 down on the money.
Okay, hold on.
Yep.
Michelle, are you going?
That's like Undertaker or something. That's what I was going to say. The right time, right place, 7,500. I think this 2022 is going to be a great year for EarthRenew and the agriculture space in general. So, yep, 7,500.
All right. That deserves the bell. Bell.
Cowbell?
Bell. Don't give me, it's asking me to subscribe.
Okay, there you go. Nice.
Anyone would think we didn't have a wrestling company in the office.
There you go. 3 7,500 contributions. Thank you, gentlemen. I might have to jump in there with you. I'm going to have to figure out what we're doing with this.
You have to get your actual 7,500.
Yeah, I have to go get 7,500 bucks. All right, cool. EarthRenew is ERTH on the Canadian exchange. And based on what we've just said, you might want to remember that. ERTH. Keith Driver's the CEO. But we must also warn you, we cannot guarantee future results based on past performance or what's happened in the last week or two, or by what these guys have just said. They could be off their freaking out of their freaking minds.
And that ain't no bull.
That's right. So don't make sure you go do your own research, your own homework before you invest, please. And don't hold us to anything.
Don't farm it out.
But good luck with it. Don't fart it out. For Chris upstairs, how's the gin coming along, Galen?
Oh, I'm already drinking, dude. That's how I got to where I am right now.
And Michelle, we'll see y'all on the next Equity.Guru Investor Roundtable.
I think that was moving. What about you guys?